big ideas. There we are. And now we'd like to hear from the other student chosen to address us today, Luke Broadway.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a privilege and great honor that I address you on behalf of this graduating class of 2015. We've got a great crowd here today. I think I see actually more than 10 families. In fact, there are over 50, and that is incredible for the society that we live in. And all of us are homeschoolers here that are graduating, and it's incredible that all of you are here supporting us. I just want to thank you for being here. It's also my pleasure to thank you all for just joining us in our celebration. And for many of you who are not graduating today, it's still just as much an accomplishment for you as well, parents, for all that you've done over the years. Thank you. Here we are after 13 years of rigorous courses with Mom, where the consequences for acting up was dealing with the principal and having to write, "I'm sorry, Mom," 100 times in cursive.
Oh dear.
Was I the only one? Dustin, I know that was you. We thought that punishment would never end, then I did something else and had to write another 100. For some reason, these experiences have been stitched in my memory more than anything else, I think. And I remember that so vividly because of how multi-purpose that consequence was. I got plenty of practice writing and in cursive. I learned why I was wrong and that there are consequences for my actions. And I eventually understood the need to respect authority. Education, responsibility, and respect are three of the most necessary life skills to be had. As we've learned by this point, being an educated member of society is not only required by law, it is also a prerequisite for success in life. We must be able to read, write, and understand the basics about how the world works and who became before us. Today we're celebrating the fact that we have been given the opportunity and achieved the goal to be well educated. Ecclesiastes 7:12 tells us that the protection of wisdom is as the protection of money, and knowledge is profitable because wisdom gives life to those who possess it. We also must be responsible with life's many freedoms. The freedom to choose or not to, the freedom to work, sleep, hate, love, or do nothing. And whatever we do, there will be some form of result. And we may not like what we get, but we're responsible for our actions. Galatians 6:4-12 says, 4-5 says, "But let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone, and not in his neighbor. For each will have to bear his own load." These verses are saying that we do not need to compare ourselves to anyone else, but that we should take charge of our own responsibilities. But we must also understand the need to respect authority, and that we are not it, nor are we above it. Christ is our authority, and then follows the laws which we must abide by. As members of society, we are required to be an example of excellence. Many forget or disregard this, which is unfortunate, but that makes it even more necessary for us to stand out and be an example of this excellence. In Titus 2:7-8, we find a call to this type of excellence. Show yourself as a model of good deeds in every respect, with integrity in your teaching, dignity, and sound speech that cannot be criticized, so that the opponent will be put to shame without anything bad to say about us. We must respect the need for this excellence, and by respecting it, we must do everything we can to achieve it. The decisions in life we have to make, we will also have to take responsibility for. Whether it's to your boss, family member, judge, yourself, or God, our lives, and possibly others, will ultimately be affected in some way by what we choose to do with our freedom. Pastor John Piper said, "Every beat of your heart, every chemical transaction in your body, every day you face, every night you sleep, every movement you make, every word, every deed, every relationship, every accomplishment, every plan, failed or successful, every emotion that rises, every thought that passes in every book read, every line tweeted, every text sent, every conversation, every gift given, every sin committed, all of it, all your life is yours. Everything we do now matters. Is at this point that everything you do, every choice that you make from here on out, it matters. But what we have in this responsibility is a gift, it's not a curse. I was once told being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. Being a gentleman, that is a choice. Then Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I don't want to do nothing. How we raise our children to raise their children matters more than anything we do for ourselves. I want to encourage you all to understand and be careful with what you do next and to know why you do what you do. I was once told a story of the conversion of 19th century evangelist Charles Finney. It went as such. As he was finishing up law school, assuming he had a very successful career ahead of him, he was asked, what do you plan to do next? To which he replied, well, I guess I'll get a job, win a lot of cases, and become successful. The person asked, then what? And he said, well, I guess I'll make a name for myself and become well known and respected. Then what? Came the reply. I'll make lots of money, get married, and enjoy life. The question came again. I guess I'll retire and write my memoirs. And then what? Then I guess I'll die. Then what? The question came. And for once, Finney found himself without answer. My dad is unique in the fact that he has a very special gift of giving. His way of showing his love for his family was by providing a nice life despite the personal cost to himself. However, because of his drive to provide, my dad may not have realized that what his family really needed was him. When I was younger, he endured a great health scare that almost took him from us. But this caused him and the rest of us to realize that life is not necessarily about the quantity that we have, but it's actually the quality of it is what matters. Though if you spend your all working away until you have nothing left to give but money, then it goes to waste along with your legacy. You can buy all the watches you want, but you can never buy time. Through the words of the Apostle Paul, Christ reminded us that it's with him that we should make choices, and that it is with him that we should do things. And with him will come the results. Good or bad, he will walk us through them. So we can do or do not on our own as much as we want. But if we want to be successful at making hard choices, then we do not do it alone. 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Only through Christ, because when our basis for success is to glorify God, then if we were doing that, it should be possible to always be successful. So what now? You don't have to know your whole life plan. I don't. Most parents probably still don't. But at some point, we have to decide and answer the question, what type of life will I live? It would not be a proper speech without a few thank yous. So I'd like to first give my thanks to my older and smarter, but not necessarily wiser, taller brother, Jacob, for allowing me to learn from his mistakes and know what not to do. But in all seriousness, whether you notice or not, Jacob, you were always being watched. Every move you made, I critiqued and observed. I have been asked who it was that influenced my life most, and I finally realized, Jacob, that is you. You've become a man with following and one that I respect greatly. Mom, you're the parent I wish to be one day. And Dad, you're the father and man that I hope to become. Achieving either of these goals would be impossible if it were not for you and your parenting and God's grace. I owe both of you more than either of those simple sentences, but please know that each of them carries all of my heart. To those who supported at some point in the last 18 years, and continue to do so, you have my unending gratitude. It is only by the grace of Jesus Christ that I'm on the stage today, and to him I am eternally grateful. Mom, Dad, I made it. To parents, family, and friends who brought us this far, it would simply not be enough to give you our thanks, and no monetary gift can ever repay your sacrifices. But what I can offer is the consolation that because of your example, I now know the importance of such a gift, and the world will be a better place because of it. So, class of 2015, congratulations. Thank God we made it.